This is Lesson 3. I will solve multi-step real-world problems using perimeter and area formulas. Today you will not need your math journal, you will just need your problem set because we're going to work together to solve about 4 word problems using area and perimeter. Okay, so before we get started, I want you to remember that we're always going to use that RDWW process, which means we're going to read, we're going to draw something, and we're going to write a number sentence, and then we're going to write a word sentence. So first we're going to read. The projection screen in the school auditorium is 5 times as long and 5 times as wide as the screen in the library. The screen in the library is 4 feet long with a perimeter of 14 feet. What is the perimeter of the screen in the auditorium? So first of all, you're thinking to yourself, what can I draw here? That's a lot of information, so you got to kind of break it down into what do you know. And the first thing that I notice, they don't give us the exact dimensions for the screen in the library, but they do tell us that's 4 feet long with the perimeter of 14 feet. So if I draw the screen in the library and I label it, I believe I can figure out the length and the width of the screen in the library. So I'm going to begin by drawing that. So if you'll notice, the first thing I did here was I drew the screen in the library and I said that the perimeter was 14 feet. I knew that one side was 4 feet. So if I take the 14 and I subtract 4 foot and 4 foot, that leaves me 6 feet. But I know that this can't be 6 and this can't be 6. They're 6 together. So when I divide that in half, I get 3. So the width is 3 feet. So you have to go back and think to yourself, okay, does that make sense? So if the perimeter is 14 feet, and you think about this is 3, and this is 3, that is 6. This is 4, and this is 4, that is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. So yes, that does make sense. Now when I go back to look at the rest of the information in the problem, it tells me here that the screen in the auditorium is 5 times as long and 5 times as wide. So whenever I drew this, I had to draw 5 fours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fours because it's 5 times as wide, and 5 threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's 5 times as wide. So when I put all those fours together, that gave me 20 feet. And when I put all of these threes together, that gave me 15 feet. Now, when I go back to look at what the question asked, the question wants to know what's the perimeter of the screen in the auditorium. So I use that same formula that I've been using, 2 times length plus width. So 2 times 15 plus 20 is 35, and 2 times 35 is 70. So the perimeter of the auditorium screen is 70 feet. Let's take a look at the next one. The width of David's tent is 5 feet. The length is twice the width. David's rectangular air mattress measures 3 feet by 6 feet. If David puts the air mattress in the tent, how many square feet of floor space will be available for the rest of his things? Okay, again, this is a pretty complex problem. You have to kind of break it down into what you know. And this is how drawing something can really help you to understand how you're going to solve this problem. So the first thing you need to do is think to yourself, okay, what is something that I can draw? They give us the dimensions of the tent. So I will begin by drawing a picture of the tent, David's tent. So we're going to start by drawing a rectangle here. And it says that the width is 5 feet. Okay, so we're going to put 5 feet. And it says that the length is twice the width. So that means that there's 2 5s. So 5 feet and 5 feet. So the width would be 10 feet. Then it says that his air mattress measures 3 feet by 6 feet. So he's going to put it inside the tent. So I'm going to draw it inside the tent, okay? I'm not going to really draw it to scale, but so let's say that this is 6 feet and this is 3 feet. It says how many square feet? When I hear that word square feet, I'm thinking, when I measure perimeter, it doesn't, the units aren't square feet, it's just feet. But when I measure area is measured in square feet. So they're talking about area here. How much floor space will be available for the rest of his things? So it's saying that once his tent is set up and he puts his air mattress here, it wants to know what is the area of this space. So first of all, I'm going to find the total area of the tent. So area equals length times width. So the area of the tent would be 10 times 5 feet. So the area of the tent would be 50 square feet. Okay. Now I'm going to find the total area of the air mattress. And I think I can do this just right here. 6 times 2 is 18 square feet. So if this is my total is 50 square feet, and part of the space is 18 square feet, and I want to know what this part is, that tells me I have to subtract. So I'm going to take 50 minus 18. 50 minus 20 would be 30. That wouldn't be enough. I have to take away 2 more. So 50 minus 20 is 30, and I have to give back 2, so the answer is 32. If you want to regroup there and check my math, you can, but the answer is 32. So it says, what is the available, what floor space is available for the rest of his things? So let's say that there is 32 square feet, that's a Q here, of available floor space. Some complex problems. That's why they only gave you 4 problems today, because they really expect you to work through them, okay? All right, now let's take a look at the next problem. Jackson's bedroom has an area of 90 square feet. The area of his bedroom is 9 times that of his closet. If the closet is 2 feet wide, what is its length? So if you think you have an idea of how you're going to solve this, I want you to remember that I do expect you to draw something. I do expect you to write a number sentence and a word sentence. If you don't know where to begin, you can stay with me and we'll work through this together, okay? So first of all, I'm looking to see what is it that I definitely know. I know that the area of his bedroom is 9 square feet. So if I draw his bedroom, and I'm just assuming it's a rectangle, it might be a square, but I'm going to draw a rectangle, okay? So here's his bedroom. I know that the area is 90 square feet. So I know that the area of his bedroom is 9 times that of his closet. And I know that his closet is 2 feet wide. I'm trying to figure out what is the length of his closet. The information that I know here, I don't know a whole lot, but I do know that this is 9 times more than the area of this. So I'm thinking to myself, if the area is 90, and it is 9 times greater than the area of the closet, what must the closet be? Well, I know 9 times 10 is 90, so that tells me that the area of the closet is 10 square feet. So if the area is 10 square feet, and one side is 2 feet, then the other side must be 5 feet. Okay? So here's my sentence. I'm going to go back and look at the problem, see what it was asking. What is its length? So I would just say simply, the length of the closet is 5 feet. Okay, here's what I drew. Here is my number sentence. And there's my number, and here's my word sentence. The length of the closet is 5 feet. Okay, we have one more problem left here. The length of a rectangular deck is 4 times its width. If the deck's perimeter is 30 feet, what is the deck's area? Okay, so I want you to think about this for a minute. What do we know? We know that we're talking about one shape this time. We're talking about a rectangle. So when you're drawing, you might consider drawing a rectangle. And think to yourself, if the perimeter is 30 feet and the length of the rectangular deck is 4 times its width, how are we going to figure out its length and its width? Because we don't know any other information. So if you think you can figure that out, go ahead and try to do it by yourself. If you need a little bit of help, you can stay with me and I'll help you. So let's take a look here at the solution. I'm going to go a little bit bigger here so you can see. All right, so first of all, let's take a look here. I have drawn a rectangle, and I know that the length is 4 times the width. So I just went ahead and divided this into 4 sections, and I put the width here. And I knew the perimeter was 30 feet. I know that the perimeter is 2 times its length and its width, and I know that the width is 1 unit and the length is 4 units. So that means that together there are 5 units. So I'd have the perimeter would equal 2 times 5, which is equal to 10. So if 10 times something equals 30, then I know that something equals 3. So the width would be 3. If that's a little bit confusing for you, then we can think of this in a different way. Let me go to a blank page and I'll show you a different way that you could think of this as well. There's another strategy that you can use where it's kind of like where you just predict and you test a solution, and we can kind of use that too. So let's start with a different solution here. The last solution would work as well, but I just want you to think about this. If I know that this is going to be 4 times this, and I know that altogether it equals 30 feet, right? And I know length plus width equals 30 feet. Or I could also go with that 2 times length plus width. So you sometimes just have to make a prediction. I know that the length is much greater than the width. So let's just say that the width was 1. If the width was 1, and the length is 4 times as great, that means that the length would have to be 4. So I just guessed. I just made a prediction. Now I'm going to come over here and test to see if that would make sense. That would be 4 plus 1 plus 1. When I add that together, that gives me 8, 9, 10. So what that tells me is that these are not the right answers, and it tells me that my numbers were too small. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to test a different number. Okay? So this time, let's try a width of 2. If the width is 2, then the length would be 4 times as much, which would be 8. So now I'm going to predict that. So 8, or test it, excuse me, 8 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2. All right, 8 plus 2 is 10, and 10 plus 10 is 20. Still too small, but closer. So I'm going to make another prediction. This time, let's say that the width was 3. That would make the length 4 times as much, which would be 12. So now I've got 12 plus 12 plus 3 plus 3. 12 plus 3 is 15. Here's another 12 plus 3, so this would be equal to 30. So what that tells me is that this is the correct dimensions. Okay? So now I've got to go back to see what was the question asking. It wasn't asking what is the length and what is the width. It asked for the area. So if I know that the length and the width are 3 feet and 12 feet, now all I have to do is multiply. If you don't know 12 times 3, you could always just say 12 plus 12 plus 12 and add it together. I happen to know that 12 times 3 is 36. It'll be 36 square feet. So now all you have to do is just write this as a sentence and say the deck's area is 36 square. Make sure that you do all the practices before you do your exit slip today, and good luck to you.